Well, there's a huge audience that cares about fishtank.live, the show which wrapped up Sam Hyde and Neptune's show. Yeah, you gotta, if you haven't seen highlights of that, I strongly recommend people check out the finale of it. It is very, very funny. So 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, you showed me some clips from that. So that's Sam Hyde's like crazy Big Brother style online show he did. And they get to the end of this thing where he's been torturing these people psychologically and physically for a couple weeks, and then he kind of he tells them, "Hey, you're not getting any money. Look at this contract you signed, idiot." And it kind of breaks everyone's spirit, and it's pretty wild to watch. And then there's a twist after that. So I highly recommend at least watching the finale. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's super entertaining. It is. I'm definitely gonna watch season 2. Apparently, it did well enough that they're doing a season 2 in winter. So it was one of those things that like I would just check it every night for most of the duration of it. Like, oh, what are the fish up to? And like see what fucking nonsense they were doing.
How would you do on that show, Taylor?
Probably not well. Like the amount of psychic torture and how filthy the house is.
Psychic torture?
Like the amount of text to speech harassment and
like Professor Xavier?
like you're trying to recover from a day of being tortured, and someone is continuing to play like school shooting and mariachi band sound effects as you're trying to sleep. Like it really is Big Brother mixed with Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo Bay. Like it's hilarious. I saw this really funny Twitter thread that was like someone joking around being like, it's funny how many clear lessons they took from the Stanford prison experiment, Abu Ghraib, and all these things. It's like, they made it uncomfortable. Like the actual physical setup of it would be awful. It's so fucking disgusting in that house. And anytime they start cleaning it up, Sam comes upstairs and destroys it again, and then pays Airsoft Fatty to like shit in all the toilets and not flush.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was so much fun. Dude, I was sitting
aside from the pooping, which is easily solved, this sounds like a typical Woody motel room. Like, oh, is there damaged furniture? How would I make it through the night? How
filthy.
In what way is it filthy?
Like there's shit smeared in places. There's piss. Everything's broken. They destroy all the furniture. They punch holes in the walls. Everything is shredded. Like it's not my house. It is baffling how badly the house was destroyed.
The only thing I can't just ignore.
The poo is a big part of it. It takes such little poo to upset me. Like in a place that I'm living, it takes like borderline 0, and the amount they had was non-zero. And like, I remember watching multiple times, like just sitting there, looking at this hell house of horror, and just looking around my nice, clean home and being like, I am so thankful I am here right now instead of there, because I was genuinely impressed by some of the contestants. There's this chick, Letty, who's just like a chick in her like mid-20s, who endured so much nonsense from like Frank Hassel, from the sharks, the fish tank operators and everything. And she just like kept being entertaining and coming back. It would be, I do not have high. No, she got second place. And Sam still gave her 20 grand. She wasn't supposed to win that much.
I think having watched really cool very much, like Sam coming in and like destroying his own kitchen, I'm not intimidated. If you want to kick the pads and like push me around the room, I don't care.
I would care. That would hurt my feelings. Like I put myself in that position at least 10 times. Not in real life, like in my thoughts. Like, what would I do if Sam asked me to hold the pads and then just started like dominating?
You can hold pads for Sam. You're big enough. That other guy's small and frail, and he's never held pads before.
We could all do it.
I think it takes a real giant man to like overpower us holding like tie pads.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I was picturing myself getting pushed around just like that guy, and I'm like,
I don't think so.
Do I sweep the foot as he goes for a kick? Like it?
No. You pull the pad out of the way, let him kick the wall. Is what you do.
I like that better. Right?
Down.
But I'm like,
what's wrong, Sam?
For the record,
what happened?
I can't beat up Sam Hyde, right? So if I get my one lick in, do I call that a moral victory? because you know what follows.
Kick that wall. Let Sam kick that wall. Now he's all crippled, and I hope he attacks me. Because you think 30 grand prize money? This lawsuit's going to do better than that, Sam. Why don't you attack me right here on camera in front of everyone, Sam? Why don't you attack me? You big goof. Did you kick the wall, Sam? Look at that welt. Look at that, you goof.
Why don't you hobble on over here and see what kind of
He's
fight
not
you got
going to
left
actually fucking attack you. Like you could, there were very funny times like where the real like Sam like showrunner came out during the show, because he would like that guy who took all the kicks, like John, the guy with the speech impediment, he like encouraged John and Letty to like fuck with each other and like create content and harass each other and everything. And like would say like, everything's allowed. You can destroy each other's belongings. You're allowed to like go in each other's bags and take stuff and tear their clothes and destroy their stuff and shoot mustard all over their shirt. Like you can destroy any of their stuff. And that was an understood thing. And John being
that would go well. I think would choke somebody out so fast.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's if you haven't watched it, like, it would not be easy to be
like, I don't mind poop. They're like, we pooped in your bag.
We pooped in your bag, and now Frank Castle is in your room shirtless, like wearing it. Wearing poop.
No. Frank Castle's in there and he's wearing your CPAP.
And shit on his own forehead. We've given away
the secret on how to get under my skin. How to get me to overreact to something. Not that it's secret, but
this girl Letty is Canadian and it's an American show, and so she has a passport there, and this guy John runs in there and steals her passport and is like running around like threatening, like, I'm gonna rip your passport. I'm ripping your fucking passport. And like Sam comes, because it's like, you can't have someone on his show having their passport destroyed, like on it and trapped in the country. And so he barrels up in like real anger mode. It's like, John, do not rip that passport. Don't rip that. And John's running away from Sam in the garage, and Sam is sprinting over piles of garbage to catch him. And he grabs the passport from him. He's like, John, fucking idiot. And like throws a drawer as hard as he can at the wall of the garage, angrily throwing garbage around like, fuck, John, you can't rip up people's fucking passports. Like actually getting furious. There were so many fucking funny
I can't tell. You said actually furious?
Yes. Legitimately furious. He cannot have one contestant destroying another contestant's passport. Like,
I'm still not afraid
him in the country.
But I'm still not afraid,
I can't tell.
No, you're not afraid
because I'm there to because of the scenario, this exact sneer in particular, right? Because I'm terrified of Sam Hyde. He's a gigantic, scary man. He'll kill me with his bare hands.
Supposed to be scary.
What I'm scared of, though, the reason I wouldn't be scared in that scenario, though, I'm here to suffer for a few tens of thousands of dollars. So if you give me a scenario right now where that big dude just beats me up and I get, call it 100,000, I like that even better. I'd love to go home right now with like a concussion and $100,000 check, Sam. So beat me up in front of everyone. You know, like I'm not afraid of that. The problem would be, I bet there's not a lot of sleep happening, and I need some sleep. Like I need some sleep, and that weighs on you. Like every day, if you're just getting 4 or 5 hours, or that like sporadic, a couple hours throughout the day kind of thing, that could have a real mental toll. Yeah, that adds up cumulatively.
Dude, just sound effects and text to speech all night.
I forgot that.
You are so quickly going to be in a bad mood out of like, and maybe I didn't explain it right. But like the point is not, Sam Hyde is not scaring people like I'm going to beat you up. It is made to be uncomfortable in there. The whole nature of moving their beds all the time, disrupting their sleep, loud noises, controlling the lights, people paying to have the temperature turned down to freezing or as hot as the house goes. Like just things like it's made to be uncomfortable. Like there's no threat that you're going to be beat up or attacked. And then just like
there's a little threat in there.
No.
The way he yelled at the guy around the passport and threw things at the wall. There's
the wall, not at him.
You can't tell me there's no threat.
I would have said,
I mean, it's a show.
Like, I would have said, am I off the show if I tear it up? What happens if I tear it up? What happens if I burn it right now? What happens? I'd want to know. He has to tell me what the rules are.
Kyle, you don't understand. You are thinking at a higher level than this gentleman who was running around with the passport.
Oh, that's fair to say.
The group of people that he put in there were specifically chosen to try and be combat. Like if it would be infinitely easier to hang out in the house with you two guys than like a bunch of people you don't know. And you have Frank Castle coming in, taking all your stuff and making messes. You got Airsoft Fatty coming in, shit everywhere. He's being gross. He's spitting on people. He's getting turned down by a prostitute because he smells too bad.
If the three of us were on that show and then we were in that environment, I think it would be a little like I imagine boot camp. I think part of boot camp is to put you in a really suffering, difficult environment where you bond with the other guys. And like, you're like, man, this fucking sucks, doesn't it? Like, this is hard. We're going to have to pull through and pull together and get through this. But that, of course, is not what these guys do.
Hey, who's that subhuman in the top left corner?
That's Airsoft Fatty.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That dude is a content factory.
Oh, yeah?
He is. I would like sometimes check in on the stream. Like, he's enormously fat. And so you assume he would be the most low energy person of all time. Yeah, they shaved his head into like a Friar Tuck thing.
Yeah.
And like I would like pop in randomly, sometimes be like, oh, it's like 10 a.m. I wonder if any of the fish are awake. And everyone's asleep except for that dude who's like always like making himself an enormous meal and like singing so loudly that it's funny because you can like go to the kitchen cam and like hear him booming how loud he is. And then you can go up to the cameras of the other people trying to sleep. And this guy's just booming voice is so fucking loud across the whole house. It was hilarious. Very, very funny stuff. Like not knowing what was coming next. You'd think that they would struggle much more with like the zoo effect of people not doing anything for enormous periods of time, but they did a good job keeping people engaged with activities and challenges and stuff. There was also like, I enjoyed the very Sam Hyde aspect of like the points kind of being whose line is it anyway, where it'd be sometimes like, all right, here's the competition. And then it'd be like, all right, Letty, you won, but you're not getting the point. I'm sorry. Like,
did those fish bucks ever materialize?
Yes. Yeah. He gave everybody the money for their fish bucks after telling them they would not be getting any money for their fish bucks. The Willy Wonka end to it was hysterical. His Willy Wonka end. Very, very funny stuff. So check out the highlights of Fish Tank and look out for season 2. I thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I think Sam Hyde is like your favorite style of humor right now. Like I bet if you could pick one guy to make. Yeah. Well, Opie and Anthony was a kind of good guy for a while.
For sure.
But, yeah. I put myself in the position of the victims too much. You know, it's funny. I watch cringy stuff, and you told me that you empathize with the cringe. You can hardly like get it. And
at times.
I'm totally comfortable with watching the cringiest stuff. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But somehow the like borderline bully stuff, I'm always like, how would I fucking handle that situation? I can't beat up Sam Hyde. Here's this like, what am I gonna do? This isn't funny. This is mean. And
it's funny. He's like a Simpsons character. I can hear like Reverend Lovejoy saying that.
That's not funny.
It's mean.
It's mean.
Yeah, but I think I'm like the kind of rube that, you know, is part of what makes it work.
Yeah, see, so like one of the final challenges was who can make Airsoft Fatty move around in a circle in whipped cream the longest.
The longest or the most rotations in a minute?
The most rotations, and it didn't end up mattering. Because like all of it, like what the last 4 days, they locked them all in a room, and Sam was like, all right, the final points competition, the first one to 48. And so it was the first one to 48 points. So they just came up with a bunch of horseshit games to keep them occupied. Because obviously in the end, it didn't matter. Like they already knew Josie was going to win and that Letty was going to get second place.
I think if I were just some crazy person who just was fans of all these, I'd be so into it. I'd want to like go, right?
I'll stay on the watching side, I think.
I think if I were one of them, I would just a random person, I would absolutely want to take part in something like this. Because growing up, I was really, and even now to some extent, I was really into game shows, and the idea, I always thought I could win the game show, like watching. There was this one game show on Nickelodeon with kids called something Temple, like
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple. And I remember I would always be like, God, these kids suck. I'm so much better than any kid on fucking Legends of the Hidden Temple. I'd get to the end, and man, it's been so long ago I was a kid, but I remember a pile of the way I remember the prizes being, they basically gave you like an extra Christmas that year. They just piled up a bunch of toys and cool shit. and sponsors, of course.
Yeah.
But so I would definitely be in the Sam Hyde thing. The idea, how does he choose people?
It looks like everybody had to submit a video application for it, and then he picked people that he thought would be unique and interesting. One of the first guy, this Asian guy Simmons they had in the beginning, was they found out like he had written some book back when he was a camp counselor that was about how to hook up with campers.
I remember that.
And Sam, apparently that was so over the line. Like the clip is Sam just being like, "All right, get the hell out. You're gone. You're not here. Like get out." And so then he went out and found a different, funnier, more wholesome Asian guy that was about the same height and brought him in. just
one noticed.
Into a different Asian guy.
All right, we're gonna give you all of that other guy's points, okay? And we're just not. Can I? What was just call him the other guy's name? That would have been. That should have been the bit. So a pedophile made his way through the selection process, allegedly.
Yeah, it took the chat, I suppose, all the audience online to parse that out and get him out of the house. Very entertaining stuff. Like
pedophiles everywhere. Pedophiles everywhere.
They love reality shows. You got to keep an eye out.